Okay, Thursday, January 6th. I just got back from the gym. I did the running last because the gym was running on generator. We didn't have any power this morning. Now they're saying that we'll be fully lit up starting next month. There was some announcement that Lviv region won't have any more blackouts. So maybe a lot of this stuff is outages. I got my little headlight on because I came when it was pitch black. You know, it's amazing when all the lights are out, how dark it is. You almost forget that it's like really hard to see when it's completely dark. I don't know, it's obvious, but not so obvious. But it's almost surreal. So, yeah, I did my running, did my weightlifting. So, yeah. So we got the tanks. I don't know how long it will take and how much training and setting up the logistics. But I think it's a morale booster, if anything, and it sends a message to the Russians that we're sticking together. You know, nobody's going to mess with us. So, yeah, we're doing good. The tide is going to turn. And also, I read in America, you know, so I'll just back up. We got the Challenger tanks from England, got the Leopards from Germany, and America's sending the M1 Abrams. Now I'll go back to what I read. I read that the U.S. is ramping up production of ammunition. And I know that in Norway, I saw an announcement from Kongsberg Group. They're building a new missile factory in Norway. So all of this is like they're all acknowledging that Russia, China is like a long-term threat, that this is not just a hemorrhoid that flares up, but this is like, you know, something much worse. You know, this is just a reality we have to deal with. And now I think everyone finally understands that peace comes at the end of a gun. You know, that there is no like, you know, you can't deal with these people. You know, they just have a different way of thinking. They want to take everyone's happiness away. You know, they want to be like the Grinch and steal Christmas. You know, and really what they want to do is take people's choice away. You know, take away their right to want to do something different, or their right to choose a different government, their right just to be different. And these societies are not very innovative. I mean, you know, Russia is like, I don't know, 140 million people versus California, that's like 25 million people. And California's economy is way bigger. I mean, even Pennsylvania's economy is way bigger than the Russian economy. I mean, most of these American states, small European nations, I think it's like Italy and Russia are comparable in terms of economy, and Italy's population is much smaller than Russia's population. And also land resources and everything else. I mean, hell, look at Japan versus Russia. So it's just a thug society. It's just thuggery and you know, bullying, and that's what they want to spread around the world. The Chinese want to industrialize that. There's you know, in China, I think your life is fine as long as you agree with them and you play the game and you're in the right circles. But I don't think there's really that much room to be different. I mean, of course, they're like trying to push innovation over there, but it's hard to get it in a society like that where, you know, there's not much diversity. And then a lot of people have grown up as only children. So that creates a lot of its own problems as well. You know, being able to, you know, cooperate and collaborate and trust and all of this. Trust is like a big one. The layers of trust that you see in Western society. You know, that you can do things without having someone watching over you. You know, it reduces a lot of overhead and puts a lot more resources where they should go instead of getting expended in the monitoring process. So, yeah. But now that these tanks are coming, how should they be used? I mean, I don't know. I think we're not getting that many Abrams. I heard numbers from 31 to 50. So I believe that probably should be used to actually guard the Western Front with Transnistria. Because, I mean, they require a lot of maintenance. They can only go like 200 miles or something before needing a refuel. So it's going to take a lot of logistics to keep them running. You know, and then they have to be maintained. It's a gas turbine engine. So, I mean, that's a skill by itself. I'm pretty sure they can crash course the Ukrainians and give them YouTubes and telephone assistance, and everything is computerized. So, I mean, one thing about the Army training, and I was in the Navy, it starts from the most basic level, like putting 1 + 1 together and then they move rapidly to like differential equations. So if you can cut a lot of these like lower steps out and just get down to the meat, and then maybe have some assistance from the US, like online assistance or something, maybe they can speed up this learning curve. So they have a lot of engineering students here in Ukraine. Like, they're really good. Math skills are pretty solid, especially if they're from East Ukraine, like Kharkiv region. They seem to push the mathematics and hard physics more. These guys would be ideal to be running these systems, and I think they can learn pretty fast. I mean, that's what the U.S. military does. Most of these U.S. Army officers, U.S. military officers are like engineers, you know, by study. Like, even when you go to West Point, even when you study to English literature, 80% of your courses are engineering courses. And then the last 1 year, you're actually doing your major, but you're like 80% engineer. I mean, I was in this Navy nuclear school long back, and we had the English majors from the Naval Academy, and they were just as good as any engineer because they spent the first 2.5, 3 years taking engineering courses. Then they got to specialize in like military history or something like that. So that's probably the type of people they're going to look for here, is like young, really sharp guys, probably from the IT sector, that are already comfortable with computers and all of this. I mean, like in the armies in America they teach at the lowest common denominator, assuming the person knows nothing. So they have to teach them the math. You know, they have to teach them the basics about computer. And of course, people know it, breeze through it, and, you know, say, oh, this is stupid. Why is this so slow? But then it catches the people, you know, who join the army like right out of a village in Alabama with no shoes, and can get them up to speed as well. So they will probably condense that course, and I think it can be condensed. I think with Patriots too, they can condense the course and get the people up to speed. But it's the logistics will be an issue. I think the Leopards will be good on the Eastern Front. They can shoot on the move and keep pounding. You know, I mean, what tanks do is, I guess, they pound these foxholes in stubborn positions. You know, then they have to move real quick, you know, because people can reverse the vector. You know, an artillery guy on the other side, you know, can trace it down. Where did it come from? Because, you know, tanks are not like artillery shooting from 30 kilometers away. They shoot from like 2 kilometers. So they're, you know, right up on the front lines. You know, and they take a lot of hits, you know, from RPGs or, you know, whatever. So, or even from the air. But, you know, it looks like the skies are getting closed in Ukraine. So how do we, so we got to train all these guys, you know, to use this equipment. But yeah, tank tactics, it's going to be interesting seeing how these Leopards, because they'll just be able to shoot, move, take out sniper positions. You know, that's also what they're good for. You know, taking out the other side's tanks, taking out the foxholes, you know, taking out some stubborn, like I say, machine gun nests. You know, while they're, you know, so they can approach it and the guys are machine gunning away, but you're protected by the tank, and then you have to get them before they get something heavier. But the M1 can, you know, if it has that depleted uranium sheathing on it, can definitely take a few hits and give back. But the M1 can shoot while moving 45 miles an hour, so it's hard to hit. You know, it's very hard for the other side to get a fix on it. So it'll change things. But like I said, I think the M1s will be used defensively. That's just my guess on the western side of Ukraine, to cut off this Transnistria thing. That's been bugging me. Like, how the hell does that get to stand? How the hell did that happen? Letting Transnistria exist, and they have an access. There was an article in New York Times that they have an access route which is still open, like Kaliningrad. There's that road that's still open, and they have an access route through Moldova, through some treaty, and the West is respecting it. And, you know, obviously there was a Budapest memorandum, and Russia wasn't supposed to attack Ukraine. So I think hopefully the West starts putting some teeth down and starts cutting Russia off from its assets. You know, we'll get Crimea back. You know, take Transnistria, maybe create a revolt there. I don't think it's that difficult to reach the people there. It's a very thin country to, you know, broadcast internet in there and, you know, encourage them to revolt. And then Kaliningrad, I think, should just be cut. You know, they should HIMAR the hell out of that place. But then we have some bargaining power. Then we have power to deal with them. You know, so Yeah. Oh, it looks like everyone's waking up. I'm getting up earlier because the gym starts getting full around 8 o'clock, so I'm getting in right at 7. But today they were still opening up. They had to fire up the generator, get the lights going. It took them a little while. It took them like 10 minutes to get the opening procedures. So when they say they open at 7, that's when the workers start arriving. It's not like the workers arrive 15 minutes before and open everything up. It's a little different here in Ukraine sometimes. You know, things work a little bit differently. So, yeah, it's, but it's all good. It's fun. You know, it's interesting. So anyway, that's all I got for today. I got to get some breakfast and get to work. You know, if you guys need any front-end developers, React.js people, I know a few good guys here. You know, get in touch with me. I see a lot of help wanted for that. So anyway, take care. Bye-bye.